How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and welcome back to another Tower of Fantasy video. Today I am going to show you my secret farming locations for the appointed research materials. We talked about this a little bit prior. If you haven't seen the guide, go ahead and check it out now so that you know what you're getting yourself into here. But let me break down these materials here real quickly. There are some materials that are an isolated location. Like, you're not going to be able to get these anywhere else. Like, data modules are coming from the packs and the treasure discovery that you open up, and even some of the legendary materials have a specific drop source. Like, you can only get it from this world boss. The items or materials that I'm going to be showing you the secret farming locations from are going to be the ones that come without any instructions. It just says, hey, kill these random monsters. It's like, okay, they're all over the abyss, but how do I know what the best location to go to is? So I have found the best location for all of these materials. So we're going to talk about the choke point materials, the materials that will stop you from progressing, and you have to go out and specifically farm these items. So the first one on that list is going to be the Grayspace spine. This one is very obnoxious, but not the worst of all of them. And then on top of that, we have the gray matter chunks, which is going to come from the beast-like creatures in the abyss. This is one of the easier ones in my opinion. And finally, the hardest one of all, or at least the most tedious, the solid bone fragment, because there are so many of them that you have to farm in order to get these done for the path completion. So you're going to want to complete all of these first time missions as we talked about in the guide video, and that's going to allow you to get a lot of good bonuses like Mira, old Vera coins, and a bunch of other relic and special goodies along the way. So first, let's talk about that first one, the Grayspace spine. What is the best farming location for the Grayspace spine? Let's go ahead and jump into it right now. The best farming location for the Grayspace spine is going to be located in the Confounding Abyss Floor 2. If you open up your map, you will see a teleporter right in the middle. This is going to be the one you're going to want to go to. As soon as you go here, your objective is to get to this little beast-like icon on my map. It will be a little hard to get there. You're going to have to walk along the edge or use some sort of movement like Claudia or Lynn to get you high in the air so that you can grapple hook and glide. But once you get there, it is a fantastic spot. So I would recommend taking this teleport. There is a small boss that has a guaranteed drop rate for Grayspace spine right in front of this place. So if you feel that you're strong enough, you feel that you're pretty powerful, you can go ahead and take this guy out. But I would be careful because he does like to do a lot of damage, and on top of that, he will just jump off the edge and stop you from getting his drops. So make sure to keep that in mind and kill him securely in a safe spot before he runs away. And as you can see, when we defeated him here, a Grayspace spine was dropped. This is a 100% drop chance, so you can pick that up on your way to the first location, which is going to be over here. So we're going to go ahead and head to that section. Now that we have arrived at the destination, you can see that we are located on the far west side of the map over here. This place is really good. These mobs are on a 2-minute respawn, so they will spawn very quickly. So if you're AFK at work, you want to tab in real fast and kill these monsters, this can be a pretty ideal farm location for you. So what I like to do is just gather them all up, so I will just run past all of them, and you can tag them with whatever you have along the way. There will be one named monster over here. He is probably the weakest named monster I have found so far. He doesn't have a whole lot of one-shot mechanics, so that is something nice to kind of add to the list here. So you will just simply round up all these guys and then go to town and get to farming on them. I would recommend to focus on the big guy because he does have some beefy health. He has very telegraphed attacks, so you should be able to get out of the way for the most part pretty easily. So go ahead and take advantage of that because it will definitely help you along the way. But as you can see, he has a sort of spin to win move where he'll try to teleport. And some of these wizards on the side can be a bit obnoxious, so you can be a little bit cautious for that too as well. But he has a bit of HP, so it can take you a little while to kind of like grind him down. But if you have a team as well, you can take your team here and go ahead and do the same thing. You'll be able to farm this a lot more efficiently. But the best part about this guy is that he does have a guaranteed drop rate for the a Grayspace spine. So that's going to make him really valuable because not a lot of monsters have that. There are a few named monsters within the Abyss. However, these ones specifically will only drop the Grayspace spine. So once you have completed that, you've cleared this platform, you have two options. What I like to do is usually I like to head over here and hop up here and I AFK, I go on my phone or I do something, whatever, on YouTube, and then I wait for the mobs to respawn and I collect them. If you do not like that option, as you can see that I'm pointing over here, there are a few mobs over here in the area, so if you just got time and you want to grind a lot faster, you can go over here and collect them. They do have good drop rates, so I would just run straight across this bridge, straight over to the right side, and you will find the location of another set of mobs for you to farm while you wait on the respawn for these guys right here. But this is going to be the best location for the Grayspace spine, and we have a few other materials to cover, so let's go ahead and talk about those now. Next up will be the solid bone fragment. For the solid bone fragment farm location, we will be heading down to floor 3. In order to get to floor 3, usually you have to beat Hurrah and jump down the pit. However, somebody can give you a teleport here and you can go ahead and skip that if that's your prerogative. So you will be teleporting to the far northern side of floor 3, and up at the top here we will see a nice little loop of enemies. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and make sure that we are good to go and gather up these mobs over here. We're looking for these two otters. This is the first start of the route, so I usually just take these guys out really fast. If they have drops, great. If they don't worry about it. Sometimes this crab guy follows you. You can kill him here, but it's better to bring him with his friends, so we have two other little crab guys that will appear along the way, and we'll go ahead and take those guys out before we jump down to the first named monster that will have guaranteed drops for the solid bone fragments. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll jump into the pit of doom here. Now I will say you should be a little bit careful. It looks like somebody's already got the same idea here, so we'll go ahead and jump in and help them out. This mob can destroy you if you are not paying attention. It will start to do these like fury swipes type deal, and it does a ton of DPS, so please be really cautious on that. This mob is very dangerous, but you can handle it with some CC, and it's not very fast, so it won't always get to you. So as you can see here, we got two solid bone fragments for the guaranteed drop, and then we're going to make use of the grapple mechanic. For the next part of this farm, we're going to head up here and slide up along the wall. If you don't know how to do that, I have a guide for exploring in Vera, so that will teach you how to do that, as well as the Claudia trick, so make sure to check that one out. Once you're up at the top here, you're going to want to go ahead and be super cautious, because this guy will one-shot you. He has this sort of stomp move like the other mobs do of his same type. So if he ever gets a red circle around him, be ready to get out of there immediately, or you will die. You will 100% die. This is a 100% kill rate. You can block it with like Kuwan and some other stuff, but just be very careful. This guy is super dangerous. Once you have collected his two guaranteed drops, you're going to go ahead and switch to Claudia if you have it, and we can make use of a mechanic to speed up this farm a lot. We're going straight up the hallway here, so we're going to the corner. There are several of these little beasts in this hallway which also drop the bone fragments, but in addition to that, they do also sometimes drop gray matter chunks. I don't know why. They're not really supposed to, so maybe it's like some sort of like in-between levels type deal, but they can definitely drop some of those. So we're going to clear up a few of these shield beasts along the way, hoping that we get some chunks. If we don't, well, you know, it's okay, we tried. But I like to just gather these guys up. We should be able to hit both of them and get them nice and piled up in the middle here. These two are the better ones. They will drop those other fragments, as well as they have a higher % chance to drop materials, just because they're elites, I suppose. So as you can see here, I did get the gray matter chunk as well as the solid bone fragment, so it's just like an RNG random chance. And once you have completed this, once you have killed these two shield beasts, then you will use Claudia and just sort of go back through the hall here. It's very quick if you have it, so I would recommend getting it macro set up and good to go. Then you will be back at the beginning. So that's going to continue the loop here, so you're going to wait on these otters to respawn, but they should be respawned if you're killing everything as quick as I am, and if you're killing it slower, they'll obviously be there anyways. So then you rinse and repeat, and you go otters, crabs, into the two named bosses, up the hall for the shield beast, and then back to the loop again. So that's going to be it for this farm. Now let's talk about the gray matter chunks. The secret location for the gray matter chunks is going to be located on floor 2 at the waypoint, so you're simply going to look to the north section of the map here. You're going to take this waypoint and you're going to start heading to where you find bugs. Any sort of bug or beast is going to drop the gray matter chunks, and this is going to be a nice location for you to get your hands on some of those materials. So once you take the waypoint located in the north section of floor 2, you're going to head over here to the side and you will see a few monsters. You're going to go ahead and be able to clean these guys up. They do have shields. They're a little strong, but nothing too crazy, so you should be able to get through them with a very, very little trouble. And once you kill these guys, they do have a pretty good drop rate on the materials. Sometimes they don't always, but you know, it is what it is. Once you do that, you will see this little icon here, this energy repeater. That's going to be what is the signal for you to go in this direction. This is going to get you to the big open room. And once you get to the big open room, you will see a little bug up top, and you will see several of these small bugs down bottom, as well as a named monster. Be very careful. This guy is insanely powerful. He will one-shot you, so you can just use caution to sort of like gimmick him and make sure you take advantage of like his ability that he is only melee. So since he's only melee, he's going to be very easy to kite and kind of cheese. So you can cheese him with Tsubasa or whatever you want to do at a range. He does have some moves that can be a bit obnoxious for you, so just be a little bit cautious on that side. I'm making it hard for myself here as I seem to have not got my Frig activated, which is very unfortunate. But we should get some more damage in here. With the hologram projector, this is a lot easier, so you can take advantage of that and not have to deal with this guy's shenanigans, as he can be quite the deadly monster. So once he is dropped, 2 gray matter chunks will be available, 100% drop rate on that guy, and then you can just go a little further down the hall here, and this is where it gets a little weird. You're gonna go left, not down the big location, and this area is gonna take you to another subsection of bugs. Once you're in here, you will be able to kill a little bit, but after this section, it seems to split off and give you a little bit of the normal type monsters. So if the normal type monsters is also something you need, you can pick up the Grayspace spines. If you don't need them, you could just simply head up the ramp here and continue on about your way to the reset of the farm. This is also a decent location for a large amount of these like Grayspace spine type monsters. So you could include this in your route as sort of a like multi-farm route if you wanted to. You could gather up all these guys right here. There is a nice pile of them, including several elites that are pretty good to kill. So you can add that to your rotation and it could be nice, but if you don't want to do that, you can just simply head up here and head back towards this little doorway, and you will finally find the entrance back where you started in a nice little loop, and you can set these guys up on a 2-minute timer and sort of run that loop over and over. So that's going to be it for this farm. Let's go ahead and talk about a few other extra farms that are only available with secrets that have to be unlocked on the map, and then we'll wrap things up here. There are 2 strong honorable mentions for the farming locations on the Grayspace spine as well as the gray matter chunks, because these things are kind of locked behind some secrets within the level. So there are several of these hidden red cubes around the world, and if you collect them, you will get access to this tower down here called Blackstone Tower, and another tower in the north which is called the Prism Pillar. So the Prism Pillar is a decent farm location. It has a lot of enemies, specifically bug types, but it will be a little bit harder to deal with because there is a high density of a lot of elite mobs. Same story for the Blackstone Tower, so it can be hard to deal with for players who may not have as much CS as some of the whales running around, but if you are able to get in there, and especially with a group, there is a very large amount of elite monsters concentrated in one area. The only trick is that they're on elevation levels, so you're gonna have to keep climbing up and down the tower, which can be a little bit tedious tedious, and it's hard to find a like resting spot or a break spot. So that's why I prefer these other farms, because they're a little bit more chillaxed, and I think they have a better yield for what you actually have to do. Like the amount of effort you have to put forth and the amount of standstill that you have to put in, it's going to yield you more materials, and it's going to be a nice comfy experience. But hey, if you're super sweaty and you want to grab a group of friends and head to those towers and unlock all those secrets and head in there for the farm and do it that way, you can definitely do so. That's going to be it for this video. I hope this helps you collect your appointed research and progress your levels so you can get all those gears and rewards. If it did help you in any way, shape, or form, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for this video, as we will have more Tower of Fantasy content coming in the future. Additional to that, we will be checking out the new World of Warcraft Dragonflight today, since it is the 28th, right around 6 p.m. EST. So we're going to be jumping into that, seeing a little bit. I might stream a little bit of it later on. We'll see how it goes. But it should be a fun time nevertheless. If you are playing World of Warcraft, go ahead and let me know in the Discord. Reach out to me, especially if you are a Mythic Raider. We intend to do some fun stuff going into the future. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. I appreciate that truly, and we will see you in the next one.